Hi boys and girls. This video is for grades 3, 4, and 5, and we're going to be working on lovely little landscapes. It probably will take 2 weeks. Some of you who are a little bit more meticulous may take a third week. We'll have to see how it goes. The project is inspired by an artist by the name of Heather Galler. And Heather Galler is a New York folk artist. Folk artists are known for their bright colors and their very simple shapes and repeated patterns. The supplies you're going to need for at least the first part will be a piece of paper, something to draw on, and something to draw with. Now, I like to use a heavier paper because some of us will be painting it. Of course, I like to use a black Sharpie to do it, to start with. You can do it with any kind of permanent marker, a dark color, or possibly a black crayon or a dark black colored pencil. And we're going to need something to color with. Today we're going to focus on the drawing part, and then we're going to color it. I'm going to use markers that we're going to add water to turn it into kind of like a watercolor painting. Now, landscapes. What is a landscape? It's a type of art that shows the outside in nature. It's the outdoor scenery. It can have trees, hills, rivers. Sometimes it can have buildings. It's a scene in the outdoors. This up here is a seascape. Oops, let me move that. That's my seascape on the wall. You can look up some of the landscapes of this particular artist, Heather Galler, and see some of hers. Now, landscapes have several parts to it. First of all, it has a horizon line, and a horizon line is that imaginary line where the sky meets the ground. Then the landscape will have the foreground, which is the part of your image or your picture that's closest to you, and then you'll have the middle ground, which is usually, it's not far in the back, it's in between the background and the foreground, and then there's the background. So the things in the front and the foreground are going to appear larger. Like if you put your hand in front of you, you can see that hand looks very big. As you move it away from you, it gets smaller as it gets further away. So the things that are in the foreground will be bigger. And then things get smaller as they recede into the background. So we're going to start by drawing our horizon line. It can be a straight line, straight across, or it can be a curved line. I'm going to do mine as a curved line so that I have a hill and a valley. I'd like it to go from one end of the paper to the other. Okay, be curved or straight. Next, on your horizon line, I'd like you to draw some simple objects like trees, bushes, maybe some houses. I'm going to do very simple shapes because they usually in folk art, they're usually very simple shapes that are used. So I'm just going to use ovals and circles. You can use whatever you like. I'm going to draw one tree here and the trunk. And maybe I'll draw a smaller one here and a trunk. Remember when we did some overlapping when we did our leaves? I'm going to overlap some trees so it gives it more of a three-dimensional illusion to it. So I'm going to put a tree here. I'm sorry that keeps beeping. I have to turn that off. And maybe I'll do a tree over here. Everybody's calling me. So you're going to draw your trees on your horizon line. Maybe you would like to draw, I'm going to put this out of the room. Maybe you'd like to draw a house in your picture. Those are pretty easy to draw. And remember, we're kind of reducing these to very simple shapes. So I'm going to do a triangle and a line down here. Maybe I'll give it a side view so that it looks 3D. Maybe I'll do a door and some windows. And I'll put another tree back here. I can put another house here. As it gets smaller, it looks like it's further away. Okay, maybe I'll put some windows here too. I think that looks pretty good for my foreground. You know what? I think I'm going to put a sun in my background. You might want to put like a moon or a sun in there. I'm going to have my sun going behind my trees and my house. So I'm going to do just kind of like a patterned radiating sun. Kind of looks almost like a rainbow. What do you think? So far so good, right? Maybe I'll put one more tree. I'll put a big tree in the back behind the house. Now you have some artistic decisions to make as to what you're going to put in your middle ground and your foreground. And that's what makes them all different. It makes them all individual and interesting. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to separate my foreground by just drawing some lines. I'm going to draw some lines separating my foreground into sections. Okay, so it kind of looks like it's going off into the distance. Next, we're going to add some patterns. Folk art is known for the repetition of different patterns. So perhaps what I'll do is I can put some zigzags in here. Did on one side, I'll do on the other side. Maybe I'll put some little circles in there. Oh, it almost looks like a Christmas tree. I think I've had enough of Christmas. What about you guys? Maybe I'll put some polka dots in this one. And you can fill that with polka dots. Perhaps this one I'll just do some curved lines. Ooh, it's repeating the line of my sun radiating on the horizon. That's kind of cool. I can do some spirals. And you know how to do your spirals. It's kind of like a C, but it goes around and around. And they can go different ways. Maybe over here I'll do spirals connected to each other so that it kind of looks like an S. It's up to you, whatever you like to fill in all your spaces with in your foreground. Okay, I would like you to take your time with that. Here's another one that I did. You're going to take your time today. You're going to draw your horizon line. Then you're going to put your objects, your trees and your houses on your horizon line in your middle ground. And then your foreground, you're going to separate into sections with diagonal lines and add patterns and shapes. once you do the patterns and shapes in your foreground, you can also add some patterns in your objects, in your middle ground. You can put some curved lines to make the tree trunks look a little bit curved. Okay, we can put some polka dots in it. I want you to take your time and fill in. Here I'm going to add some spirals in here. It's up to you how you want to fill in the patterns and shapes. Maybe you'd like zigzags, so that all of your trees have interesting patterns and shapes. In your middle ground, your foreground will be separated by diagonal lines that you're going to fill with patterns. Then, next week, we're going to color them in. But I would like you to take your time this week, the third week of January, and I'll post another video showing you how to do the coloring in. That's the fun part. We're going to use bright colors. So, I look forward to seeing what you've been doing. If you're in class, you don't have to do a Flipgrid, but if you are not in class, I'd like to see a Flipgrid. And there's something new I wanted to talk to you about. If you're working from home, I will soon have a link on the Special Area website in the Arts section where you can join the class live. I'll have my camera on and you'll have your computer on and you'll be able to be a part of the class live like you do in your classroom. So that should be starting February 1st. And then I'm not going to be doing tapes anymore. I'm not going to be doing videos. We're just going to be going live. So I look forward to seeing what you come up with for your Heather Galler Lovely Little Landscapes. Okay? See you next time. Bye.